He lived among them, a seemingly ordinary man, a husband, a father, a church council president. No one suspected, no one imagined. Beneath the surface of normalcy hid a monster. Dennis Rader, the BTK Killer, terrorized Wichita, Kansas for over 3 decades. His crimes were brutal, calculated, and haunting. He thrived on fear, on the knowledge that he held a community captive in his grip. Rader's story is a chilling reminder that evil can lurk in the most unexpected places. It exposes the dark side of human nature, the capacity for cruelty that can lie dormant beneath a veneer of respectability. His double life, a study in stark contrasts, continues to fascinate and horrify. The BTK Killer case is not just about the victims, though their suffering remains at the forefront. It's also about the relentless pursuit of justice, the tireless efforts of law enforcement to stop a shadow terrorizing a city. It's a story that delves into the mind of a predator, attempting to understand the motivations behind such unspeakable acts. This is the story of Dennis Rader, the BTK Killer. Wichita, 1974. A seemingly peaceful January morning. Inside the Otero home, a family of 4 went about their day, unaware that their lives were about to be extinguished. Dennis Rader, hiding in the darkness, watched and waited. He had been stalking them, learning their routines, planning his attack. He entered the house quietly, a predator in the sanctity of their home. He bound, tortured, and then strangled Joseph and Julie Otero and their 2 youngest children. The brutality of the scene shocked even seasoned detectives. The methodical nature of the killings, the deliberate posing of the bodies, pointed to a deeply disturbed mind. News of the murders spread through Wichita like wildfire. Fear gripped the community. No one knew who would be next, who the monster hiding in their midst might target. The randomness of the attack magnified the terror. No one was safe. Months after the Otero murders, a letter arrived at the Wichita Eagle newspaper. It was a chilling confession, filled with chilling details that only the killer could have known. The letter also contained a chilling moniker, BTK, bind, torture, kill. This was his signature, his calling card. The letters became a macabre form of communication. Rader taunted the police, reveling in the terror he was inflicting on the city. He craved notoriety, wanted the world to know his name, to acknowledge his power. He sent poems, puzzles, even a chilling chapter 2 describing the Otero murders in detail. The police were baffled. Each letter provided glimpses into the mind of a sadist, but no real clues to his identity. Fear in Wichita intensified. The letters were a constant reminder that the monster was still out there, watching, waiting. The city was held hostage by an unseen enemy. Years passed. The letters stopped. The fear, however, lingered. The BTK Killer cast a long shadow over Wichita. Parents were afraid to let their children out of their sight. Neighbors viewed each other with suspicion. Life in Wichita was forever changed. The lack of communication from Rader didn't mean he was inactive. He continued to live his double life, a respected member of the community, all the while harboring his dark secret. The monster was dormant but not gone. The police never gave up on the case, but leads ran cold. Years turned into a decade, then 2. A new generation grew up in Wichita, the shadow of BTK, a chilling legend. Just when it seemed that the city might breathe again, the monster resurfaced. Section 5, The Monster Resurfaces, Breaking the Silence, 2004. 30 years after the Otero murders, a letter arrived at the Wichita Eagle. BTK was back. The letter claimed responsibility for a murder in 1986, a case that had gone unsolved. He sent more letters, each one a taunt, a reminder that he had never truly left. This time, however, the game was different. Technology had advanced. DNA evidence, unheard of in the 1970s, now offered a powerful tool for investigators. The arrogance that had protected Rader for so long would soon become his undoing. Wichita was once again plunged into fear. The monster had returned. The hunt was back on. This time, the police were determined to not let him disappear back into the shadows. Section 6. A fatal mistake. The arrogance of a killer. Rader's need for control, for recognition, ultimately led to his downfall. He began communicating with the police, engaging in a dangerous game of cat and mouse. He wanted to prove his intelligence, his ability to outsmart them. He craved the attention, the fear he was generating. He made a fatal mistake. In one of his communications, he asked if it was safe to communicate using a floppy disk. He was assured it was not traceable. He believed them. This was the break the police had been waiting for. The floppy disk was traced back to a computer at the church where Dennis Rader, a seemingly upstanding citizen, served as council president. February 25th, 2005. The news reverberated across Wichita. Dennis Rader had been arrested. The man who had terrorized their city for decades was not a shadowy boogeyman, but a face they knew, a man who lived among them, worshipped with them, raised a family among them. Rader's arrest was a shock to everyone who knew him. He was a pillar of his community, a devoted family man, a Boy Scout leader. How could this man, who projected such an image of normalcy, be capable of such monstrous acts? The evidence against him was overwhelming. DNA linked him to the crime scenes. Items found in his possession matched those described in his letters. The mask had slipped, revealing the monster that hid beneath. Dennis Rader's trial began in June 2005. The nation watched as the seemingly ordinary man from Wichita faced the horrifying accusations against him. He pleaded guilty to 10 counts of first-degree murder. In chilling detail, Rader described his crimes, his voice devoid of emotion. He recounted how he stalked his victims, the pleasure he derived from their terror. He showed no remorse, only a chilling detachment. On August 18, 2005, Dennis Rader was sentenced to 10 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole. The judge called his crimes cruel, heinous, and atrocious. The question that haunted everyone was why? Why did Dennis Rader, a man who seemingly had it all, lead a secret life of such depravity? Experts believe that Rader suffered from a severe personality disorder, likely a form of sexual sadism. He derived pleasure from inflicting pain and suffering. His need for control, his meticulous planning, his taunting letters, all pointed to a deeply disturbed individual. Rader was a master manipulator, able to compartmentalize his life, keeping his dark desires hidden from even those closest to him. Understanding the psychology of a killer like Dennis Rader doesn't excuse his actions. It does, however, provide valuable insight into the dark side of human nature. It serves as a stark reminder that evil can lurk behind the most unassuming facades. The legacy of Dennis Rader, the BTK Killer, continues to haunt Wichita. His crimes left an indelible mark on the community, a chilling reminder that monsters can hide in plain sight. The fear he instilled, the sense of vulnerability he created, lingered long after his capture. The BTK case serves as a stark reminder that evil can wear many faces. It reminds us that we must be vigilant, that we cannot afford to be complacent. The monster next door might not be a shadowy figure lurking in the darkness, but a respected member of the community, hiding behind a mask of normalcy. The chilling tale of Dennis Rader forces us to confront an unsettling truth. Sometimes, The greatest monsters are the ones who live among us, the ones we least suspect.